Yo, it's Rodney, Fools Observers, and today we're back with another video. Today we're talking about the A6400. It's been a year. I'll let you know my thoughts. Yo, in March of 2019, Sony released a new ASPC mirrorless camera, the A6400. In their weird naming or numbering convention, the A6400 actually replaced the A6300, but what is actually below the A6500 in the hierarchy. So even though the A6400 is the newer camera, it actually is still beneath the A6500. So the A6400 is a 24 megapixel camera. It released body only for $899.99, of course. It shoots in 4K. It has a flip screen. It also has the picture profiles and shoots, like I said, shoots 4K up to 30 frames per second. And it shoots at 120 frames per second in full HD 1080p. So one of the main competitors would be the, what it replaced, the 6300 and the 6500 at the time, and also likes of the Panasonic GH5 series, the Canon M50, the Fuji XT series, whether it be the XT3 or the XT1 or XT30, and some of those were the cameras that were the main competitors. So for me, I actually switched from the Nikon series. I had a Nikon D7200 DSLR camera. I sold that. I sold all the gear, was going into mirrorless, and I was kind of debating. Well, I reached out to some of my video friends and see what they were shooting with, because I wanted to kind of branch into video, and they suggested Sony, whether the 6500 or 6400. So the 6500 being the older camera, but the better camera. I was kind of going back and forth, and I, of course, settled on the 6400. And some of the reasons why I did that was this flip screen. Like, the flip screen sold me, but also the screen not dimming in 4K, and also being able to shoot unlimited, well, as long as the battery can last when you're shooting a video. So the other cameras, it was like a 30-minute limit, I want to say. And then also the size of this thing. So this is my iPhone 10. This is my iPhone 10. So look at this thing. Like, look how thin this is and how small this is. I mean, even look at this old Nikon point and shoot camera. This thing is, I mean, this is a tiny camera. Like, when I took it out of the box, true story, when I took it out of the box, it was, I just bought the body only and got my lenses later. I took it out of the box and I was like, yo, where's the rest of the camera? Like, this thing is freaking tiny, man. This is a tiny, tiny camera. But I loved it. I mean, it takes great shots. The autofocus is super, super quick, especially when you pair it with the native lenses. I mean, even with my Sigma lenses, it's quick, and that's in audio and in video. Speaking of video, well, you can also use it in audio and video, in photo and in video. And speaking of video, this thing also has the picture profiles and can shoot in S-Log2, S-Log3, and also in HLG. And that's crazy. It shoots in a Super 35 mode, like I said, 4K up to 30 frames per second. And also, speaking of crop, the Sony mirrorless mount, the E-mounts, they can use either the crop lenses or the full frame lenses. So that's great. So if you want to get some better glass, you have the options. Although, the ASPC crop lenses are typically much, much cheaper. So some of the things I didn't like about this thing is the battery life. So it uses the smaller battery. So this is the battery for these are the third-party brand batteries. This is the battery for the A7 III and for the new A6600. This is the battery for the A6400, 6500 series. And I mean, for photo work, it's not really been a problem, but videos, oh my goodness, like, you have to be shooting these videos really quick, or if you're tinkering with settings, it's just draining your battery. You can get, battery packs, or like my monitor, you can charge your camera with it, or gimbals, you can charge your camera with it. But as far as if you're just using the camera bare bones, the battery is tiny. So if you're out shooting all day, or you're shooting an event on this thing, it's the battery life, you're really gonna feel it. The other thing is there's no in-body stabilization. So, you know, and to kind of show you this, like, it was kind of sold as a vlog camera, and I went outside earlier, shot a little bit about kind of going over like the vlogging stuff. So, I mean, let me show you, let me go out, let me run that clip until you can see it. So the A6400 was touted as the perfect vlogging camera by Sony, but there's two major problems. One's a little bit easier to fix than the other. So, number one, there's no IBIS. As you can tell here, if I walk around, you're gonna see, I'm just walking around in my backyard, you're gonna see some camera shakes. I mean, a lot of them, especially paired up with the Sigma 16mm that is not stabilized. And then the other major problem is this placement of this hot shoe was terrible. If you're looking at the flip-up screen, that was the major selling point of having this camera. So to be able to move that, you need something like this, which is the small rig hot shoe or cold shoe relocator. So I just pop this out. And then bam, I can see my screen and have my microphone in place at the same time. So you can see, you know, for it being sold as a vlogging camera, I mean, there's some major things to overcome first to kind of make it a vlog camera. Like doing this stuff, you know, talking head or having it on a tripod or gimbal, it's amazing. Don't get me wrong, like this takes amazing video, but it really needs to be stabilized. So one of the other things that is interesting is how they designed this camera, and I get it to keep it small, like the grip has to be small, but the EVF placement is very strange to me. I'm left eye dominant, so I use my left eye, so it kind of looks like this, and it's not as bad. But if I was right eye dominant, I would hate this camera. Like, who wants to use a camera like this, like, you know, off the side of your body? Like, it doesn't even feel stable. That is, I still don't understand why they did that, but whatever. Some other cons, but you know, you can get over, is it only has one card slot and it doesn't use UHS-2 formatting. It only goes up to UHS-1. I don't know why I'm having trouble saying that. Which isn't a big problem, but if you are shooting, if you're getting paid to shoot something, whether it be a wedding or a portrait session, it is a bit of a risk because you never know. Like, trust me, you never know. Those cards can fail or corrupt and all those images are gone. Where if you have two card slots, you can have a redundant save onto the other card and, you know, have that kind of fail safe for you. One other thing too, which I've noticed, is, you know, if you're using off-camera flash or high speed sync, this only goes to 1/4000th of a second, where, you know, the big brother A7 III or the full frame ones go to 1/8000th of a second. And that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is, especially if you're out and it is super bright out and you're really trying to, you know, expose for your subject in the background and get it nice and like, that makes a huge difference. And the last thing that I've noticed, and these are just things I've noticed while I've been using it, like this isn't just, you know, running through a list of features and okay, this and this. Like, this is things that I've noticed that while I've been using it that I'm kind of like, oh, I wish they had it. And that is a headphone jack to monitor your audio. So, I mean, this thing, like I said, takes great video, but if I can't monitor my audio, it is a risk. So, you know, it has the audio display on it, but, you know, if I have things that are peaking, or there's, like, sometimes if it's not even plugged in and I'm thinking I'm recording, or I think it's sounding great, but it's really not, and the audio levels look good, but the sound is all muffled or something is wrong, that can really make or break, especially if you're getting paid or it's a one-time event and, you know, you can't fix it. So all in all, man, to be honest, I love this camera. although I often debate whether or not I want to sell it and get the A6600, because that, I mean, that is the most complete ASPC Sony camera they have. It has the flip up screen, it has the bigger battery, it has IBIS, it has the new color science, it has the autofocus, it has the eye autofocus in photo and video. I mean, and it has a headphone jack to monitor, so it has everything. I mean, I've worked around it, but oh man, if they only, like, the A6600 definitely is the better camera, but whatever. But this is still a really good one. I would recommend this one for someone who's a minimalist, who takes photos and wants to take videos and be able to just pack this and fit this in any bag. I often just bring a little sling bag and throw this in. This can fit in my brevity bag easily, just about anywhere. Like, this thing is so small, like you can fit this anywhere. Also, anyone who is just getting started in video or doing like talking head vlogs like this, or doing a lot of stationary or stabilized video, this is a perfect setup. I would not recommend this for someone who's shooting weddings. Like I said, one card slot is a huge risk. Also, usually they're lower light situations, and this being a crop sensor, although can be done, is, you're gonna be limited a little bit. And also someone who needs to record on the go for an extended period of time. Although this is an unlimited, there's no 30-minute limit on the videos, you're still going to be extremely hampered by this small battery size. So if you do want to get this, I still would recommend this in 2020. Although I would say, save your money and get the A6600. But this is still a very good camera to get. If you want to buy one, I will leave some links below on some current pricing at where I usually buy my gear. So if you have an A6400 or A6600 or whatever camera you have, let me know. If you've had one of these, or if you're thinking about getting one of these, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Until next time, foolish observers, I'm out.